Hello, I'm Max Carter.
I'm Jeremy Candelas.
I'm Alex Chang.
I'm Jordi Verhoeven.
And we will be narrating this video on chicken anatomy.
You know, well, I'm a chicken fried.
We will begin with chicken external anatomy. The key features of chicken external anatomy are the ear, the earlobe, the comb, the wattle, feathers, the beak, the tongue, the uropygial gland, and the brachial vein. The ear and the earlobe. The ear is located caudal and slightly ventral to the eye. The earlobe is a colored patch of skin ventral to the ear. This patch of skin's color is correlated with the chicken's egg color. And as you can see, there's the ear, and there's the earlobe. This chicken would lay white eggs because it has a white earlobe. The comb and the wattle. These are ornamental structures that can be found on the chicken's head. Shapes vary between different chicken species. The size and the color of the comb and the wattle depend on sexual hormones. As you can see, there's the comb, and there's the wattle. Feathers. Feathers are growths made of keratin. They are found in every species of bird, and the downy feathers keep the bird warm, and flight feathers allow them to fly. The beak and the tongue. The chicken's beak contains no teeth. The tongue is triangular in shape and has very few taste buds. Its main function is helping the chicken to swallow. As you can see, there is an open beak, there are no teeth, and there's a triangularly shaped tongue on the bottom. The uropygial gland, also known as the preen gland. This is a large bilobed sebaceous gland. It is located dorsal to the base of the tail. Birds rub oily secretions from this gland on their feathers in order to make their feathers waterproof. The last feature we will cover is the brachial vein. This can be seen between the bicep and the tricep on the wing. And as you can see, there's the brachial vein.
Alright, first we'll be starting with the chicken muscular anatomy. And these are the muscles that we'll be covering. The main muscles are in the wing, the leg, and the breast. Starting with the wing muscles, we have the biceps brachii, which is the flexor of the wing running ventral to the humerus. And next we have the triceps brachii, which flexes the shoulder and extends the forearm. And now we'll be moving on to the leg muscles. First we have the gastrocnemius, which flexes the knee and extends the foot. Next we have the sartorius, which flexes the hip and extends the knee. Then the quadriceps femoris, which extends the thigh. The ambiens, which originates on the ilium and pubis and inserts on the proximal tibiotarsus. And next we have the semimembranosus, which extends the thigh and flexes the knee. Lastly, we have the adductor longus, which adducts and extends the thigh. Alright, continuing with leg muscles, we have the iliotibialis, which flexes the hip and extends the knee and lower leg. And then we have the tibialis anterior, which flexes the tarsometatarsus forward. And then we have the semitendinosus, which extends the thigh. Now moving on to the breast muscles, we have the superficial pectoral, also known as the pectoralis major. This is the largest muscle of the bird and contributes most of the force necessary for the downward movement of the wing. And lastly, we have the supracoracoideus, also known as the pectoralis minor, and this is responsible for elevation of the wing in the upstroke.
And now we will be talking about the digestive system. The digestive system starts with the mouth, where saliva is secreted to moisten food and aid in swallowing, since chickens do not have teeth. The mouth contains the tongue, which is triangular and narrow with very few taste buds, and beak, which crushes and tears food. It leads to the esophagus, which connects the mouth to the stomach. The esophagus is a muscular tube running perpendicular and mostly dorsal to the trachea. It leads to the crop, which is just a temporary storage for food. The proventriculus is a glandular stomach. It secretes hydrochloric acid and peptic enzymes and mucus for digestion. This leads to the gizzard, which is a thick muscular wall with sandpaper-like inner surface, and it creates strong contractions that break down the food. The small intestines is made up of the jejunum, the ileum, and the duodenum. Mesentery fixes the small intestines to the abdominal wall. Primary function is to absorb nutrients in the small intestines. The pancreas is located within the duodenal loop of the small intestines. The bile duct enters the duodenum near the pancreas. This leads to the ceca, which contain bacterial populations important to digest plant cellulose. Water reabsorption takes place here. The liver is a large four-lobed gland in the abdomen. The coronary ligament attaches the liver to the pericardium, and falciform ligament fixes the ventral surface of the liver to the ventral body wall. The gallbladder is next to the liver, and it's a small organ where bile is stored. The small intestine leads to the large intestine, where the last of the water reabsorption takes place. The large intestine leads to the cloaca, where fecal material is collected and ejected from the body through the vent.
The chicken heart is a four-chambered heart that is enclosed in a pericardial sac. The pericardial sac is seen here. It is for lubricating when the heart is moving. The chicken heart beats at a rate about 200 to 300 beats per second in the chicken, and some smaller birds exceed 1,000 beats per minute. I will be talking about the reproductive anatomy of the chicken. The features of the reproductive anatomy include the testes in the male chicken or the rooster, the ovaries, the infundibulum, the magnum, the shell gland, and the vagina. The testes are a very simple form of the male reproductive organ. They do not have a prostate or seminal vesicles. The phallus is small and has associated lymph glands producing a fluid which is added to the semen. The sperm after mating is stored in folds in the oviduct by the hen. And good fertility can be obtained for as long as 6 days after insemination. The ovary located in the abdominal cavity on the left side. And if the hen is immature or she is out of lay, the ovary will be very small and red in color. If the hen is laying large and small yolky follicles will be present. The yellow follicles arranged in a hierarchy of size. The largest follicle will be next to the ovulate, and it's called F1 or follicle 1. The next largest is termed F2 or follicle 2, and will normally ovulate the following day. Here you can see F1 and F2. The infundibulum is a portion of the oviduct that catches the oocyte after ovulation and directs it into the magnum of the oviduct. The infundibulum is one of the 2 sites of sperm storage in the avian species. The magnum is thick-walled. It is a thick-walled part of the oviduct with glands that produce and secrete albinium, or the egg white, and other proteins that contribute to the egg. The oocyte stays in the magnum for about 2 hours. The isthmus is a thinner wall where the egg membrane is formed. The oocyte remains there for about 1 to 2 hours. The shell gland, also known as the uterus, is a site of shell formation and pigmentation. This process takes approximately 20 hours. This is also where the oocyte stays the longest. The vagina is a segment of the oviduct between the shell gland and the cloaca. Sperm are stored in the tubule glands at the junction between the vagina and the shell gland.
I will be talking about the respiratory of the chicken now. It begins with the glottis, which is the opening of the trachea into the lungs. it leads into the syrinx, where the birds produce sound, and then it will lead to the lungs and the air sacs. The lungs and the air sacs allow continuous streams of air to pass through the tissues. The chicken has many air sacs and is very efficient, and since the chicken cannot perspire, the chicken pants, and so the respiratory system is used for cooling. Now I will be talking about the urogenital system. The urogenital system removes nitrogenous waste and other wastes of metabolism and maintains the osmotic fluid balance in the body. Birds excrete nitrogenous waste as urates. The urogenital system consists of the kidney, which is a three-lobe structure found in bony cavities formed by the ileum and the synsacrum of the pelvis. The kidney reabsorbs nutrients. It leads to the ureter, and the ureter is tubules that emerge between the most cranial and middle lobe of the kidneys. They run parallel to the abdominal aorta and end in the cloaca. Adrenals are also located in the urogenital system. They are endocrine glands located anterior and dorsal